Welcome to Willow's World of DIY. I'm Willow, and today I'm going to show you guys how to build the bowstring and the bolts for my micro crossbows. Let's get to it. I'm using 550 paracord, and I tie it in a loop to fit over my clamp. And then I use a swivel on the other side, and I also tie that into a loop to fit over the other end of the clamp. And I use tape to tape the piece of paracord into place just so it doesn't fall down on the clamp. I'm using V69-T70 Debond polyester thread. This has a high tensile strength. I'm using this for the internals on the bowstring. And I run it back and forth between the swivel and the piece of 550 paracord 8 times, so I have 8 threads. Then I turn the swivel in a clockwise rotation until all the 8 threads are all twisted together. I just realized that I didn't have no sound on. Now we're going to take our, this is just an embroidery thread. Alright, and I'm going to wrap this in a counterclockwise rotation to freeze the tension on this thread. My helper Miss B is coming in to check on things and make sure I'm doing it right. Hi there, Miss B. I continue to pull the thread together as I twist it around so that thread is bunched together real tightly. And then I use a lighter to burn the ends to keep it from fraying, and I also tie it into a knot. And then I do the same on the other side. Now I'm going to cut some pieces of hardwood to size for our bolts. I cut these to 1/8 inch by 1/8 inch by 3 inches long. I test fit the back end of the bolts into the crossbows to make sure they don't fit too tightly, and I sand them down if they do fit too tight. Keep in mind that you are going to put tape around the back end of the crossbows for the flights, so that is going to increase the fitment. I cut a piece of tape and then place the back end of the bolt onto it, and then I cut another piece and place it over the top and form it around the bolt, and then adhere it to the tape below. And then I use scissors to cut the tape at an angle. I'm using foam air plugs for my non-lethal bolts, and I use a nail to poke a center hole, and then I super glue the foam air plug to the bolt. I'm using a hand drill with a 1mm drill bit to drill into the tips. These are for my lethal bolts. I'm using T-style push pins for the pointy tips. And I cut off the back T portion of the push pin. I'm using .030 welding wire to wrap around the tips. This is to weight the front end of the bolts. You can also use a safety wire. Depending on what wire you use and the weight of the wire will depend on how many wraps you want to wrap it. I wrap this .030 welding wire around the tips 3 times. If you're using a .028 safety wire, I wrap it 4 times. And then I super glue the needle and the safety wire into place. Now I'm making the flights for it, and I cut a piece of tape and do it the exact same way as I did the non-lethal bolts. And this is where my balance point is. You can see that the tip is weighted a lot more than the back end of the bolts. I hope you found this video helpful. Please hit the like and subscribe buttons down below. Thanks for watching Willow's World of DIY. Until next time.